Hey guys, welcome to At Ping. Sorry we missed last week. It's been sick with COVID here for the last 10 days or so, so it's been a little rough. But we're back. We got some questions, and let's knock them out. First one comes to us in a video format from our buddy Landon Hicks. Let's have a listen.
David Pingree, I know you were missing me. You were very excited by the last time I sent you a video and asked a question, so this time I'm going to stay on the same thing because the reality is that four-strokes suck. I mean, the technology is great. The development is something to be honored. Come on, they suck. So, what I would like to hear is, will Eli Tomac be on that YZ250 2022?
All right, Landon. What? No. Eli Tomac is not going to be riding a 250 two-stroke. I know that was a cool rumor for a while. Everybody got pretty excited because there's a new Yamaha coming out, but he's not riding that bike. He wants to win. He went over there because he feels like it's his best opportunity to win. I think there's probably some other issues going on with that move, but it had nothing to do with him wanting to ride a 250F, or 252 stroke rather. Although I think we will see him on one having some fun here and there. He's going to be racing a 450. So let's just put all that to bed. All right. I love your enthusiasm, but no. And definitely not a 125. That's ridiculous. So, all right. Thanks, Landon. Next one. Hey, Ping, longtime fan, follower. Respect for everything you've done with your racing journalist afterlife career. Most of all, thank you for not being woke. I'm curious, and I don't care if this makes print, how do you deal with the internet turds that feel compelled to automatically bash you on your opinion? Be it racing, bike tests, or COVID, I can't help but to roll my eyes at some of the keyboard warriors in the posts on Vital and after any article video goes up. If I was in your shoes, I would ride off in my fire truck and not look back. Hopefully there are still enough of us that have your back, so keep up the good work online, and thank you again for being a first responder. Respectfully, Stan Glowacki. Well, I appreciate it, Stan. You know, there was a time when I was younger where stuff did bug me. You know, you see stuff online, and I think it can still get to anybody, right? But you got to ask yourself a question, and this is kind of where I had a change in my thinking. It's like, these people don't know me, right? So whoever's making comments, they don't know me. How do they have any idea what they're talking about? They don't. So that's the downside of the internet, is they can come on and say whatever they want without any kind of basis for it. But I really consider that, and I say to myself, you know, I've got a small circle of close friends and family and people that I trust, people that I listen to. And so if one of them comes to me and says, hey man, I think you need to rethink this, or I'm not sure about this, I'll listen. I'll listen for sure. But when somebody that doesn't know me has a comment, I mean, I don't even care. It's right off my back. So when the internet claps back like that, you just gotta walk away. It's not worth your time and effort. So I appreciate it. I'm glad you like the stuff that we produce. We're going to continue to do that stuff. So thanks for your support, and for those who want to just hate on, they can hate away. So thanks, Dan. I appreciate the letter, man. Next one coming to us from Harry Hart. It says, hey Ping, love the At Ping column and all the other work, insight, and commentary that you provide. Thanks. My question is about PEDs in motocross and supercross. It just seems to me as though it's something that is never really spoken about, except for the occasional WADA run-in, e.g. Stewart and Millsaps, which gets shrouded in legal secrecy, which I get, and the public gets little resolve. Why, when talking about odd results or extreme inconsistencies, does no one even suggest PEDs? I'm not pointing fingers and certainly not implying that anyone is or isn't doing them, but I always find it interesting how no one talks about how, for example, in Supercross, Tomac typically never starts the series strong and comes on late, or say how Barcia always starts strong and fades relative to the competition. And with all of the discussion around Tomac this year, I was surprised to not see it floated once. A few years ago, I heard on fairly good authority the top Supercross rider who had won before but was typically a top 5, top 10 guy, felt that he couldn't compete for the podium all season long unless he took part in a PED program. It seems as though PEDs are part of any physically demanding professional sport where competitive individuals and money are involved, so it seems naive to say, oh, it's not in motocross. Do you feel as though this topic is adequately covered, or is it considered MX taboo? Keep up the good work, Harry Hart. So, Harry, I agree with you completely that it's naive to think they're not being used. I've seen them be used by people that's going back sort of the end of my career, early 2000s. I've seen the vials of stuff laying around. So, I mean, I know that they're being used. You look at the intensity of our racing now. Guys are sprinting from the drop of the gate to the checkered flag. The length of the season. We're doing, you know, I mean, it's 9-10 months straight, a couple weeks off, then right back into training. The injuries, you know, coming back from an injury just naturally, that's really tough to do and to try to get back up to the level these guys are at. So I think that it's naive to think that they're not being used. Having said that, riders are they're never going to admit to it. Even retired riders would never admit to it because it's going to negate any accomplishment they had if they were to admit that they're being used and they used them. The industry's never going to talk about it because our media is this isn't like normal sports media, right? I mean, it's a very small knit group. And the minute you try to come out and say something like that, or blame somebody or say, point a finger, you're done, you're blackballed. You'll never get another pass, you'll never, you know what I mean? You'll never get in to get an interview. So our media has to very carefully walk around and be bros with all the riders and be careful what they say, try to dig up information from team people and other people in the industry, and then sort of leak it without making that person mad. It's ridiculous, really, is what it is. It's ridiculous. But they don't want to get blackballed, and I get it. That leaves us in a real weird limbo state, right, where nobody talks about it. It'll kind of get whispered about it, and then, well, you know, we don't know. So that's where we're at. I think to think that they're not being used in some way, shape, or form is naive. I don't think that they've got the right testing to catch it. You know, between microdosing and the masking agents that they can use. I mean, if you look into Tour de France or endurance sports like that, and the steps that they go to dope and cover it, and how long it's taken them to try to catch up and they're still not caught up. I mean, it's to think that we're going to get there, I think is crazy. So it's a bummer, but honestly, I just don't want to get caught up in it. To be real honest with you, I'm not interested in it. I've pulled out of that side of pro racing where I'm trying to follow little news scoops. I don't want anything to do with it. You know, like I'd rather enjoy the sport, try to get to know the riders and show some of that behind the scenes stuff that goes on in our sport and the fun stuff. And I'll leave that drama to somebody else. But like you said, I'll just say this, that to think that it doesn't go on is naive. So there you go. Thank you guys. I appreciate the letters, and it's good to be back, feeling better, definitely for sure. And we'll see you next week.